Welcome back to another episode of The Butler Did It. I'm your host, Adam Butler, back with another episode. Thank you so kindly for being here. So you guys know I took last week off. It was a tough week for me, man. I'm not going to front. I'm not even going to lie to y'all, man. One thing I want to do on this show is be super transparent, especially if I have to miss a show, which I don't plan on doing a lot moving forward. I started and stopped this show a lot. I kind of take a pride in when I'm not feeling it or when I'm not able. I take time off, but I made a decision. I spoke to my wife about it. That this is it. This is the brand. This is the thing. I'm always going to work in podcasting professionally as long as the profession will have me. But as far as my personal brand, this is it. This is the Butler Did It. That's what it is. So I want to give it care and the respect, and I want to respect you guys in the way that you should be respected. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about why I missed last week. Now, it's been a tough couple of weeks in my family. We had a death in the family that was tough. And I will get into more detail on that one on a later show, because I want to talk about that one on a later show. I just need to get it together. But that has been a setback, and that has caused a lot of disruption and a lot of healing and time for healing. Okay, sorry if you hear my daughter downstairs crying. Also, and I wouldn't normally announce this, but because it is a brand that people listen to, if you know me, I was a part of the Gov Exec Daily podcast. I was a producer of that podcast, and also a co-host on that podcast. And it was, frankly, Gov Exec was my 9 to 5, and you notice I'm using the term was. That show has been discontinued, and I have been let go from that position. That happened last week. So a lot has been going on. So I needed to just take some time out to sort of just relax, get my mind together. This isn't a pity party or anything like that. I'm just telling you all because some people do listen to the Gov Exec Daily podcast. And it was great working on the Gov Exec Daily podcast, by the way. That was a great opportunity. I was part of that organization for about 3.5 years. We did 781 episodes of the Gov Exec Daily podcast. It was great, man. It was wonderful. And my colleagues over there, Courtney, Ross first and foremost, my partner in crime. It was an honor working with Ross, Tanya Ballard, or Big T. I never called you Big T. I don't know why I just said it just now. Courtney, Eric, Tom Shoup, Catherine Peters, Sean Deese. Everybody over at Gov Exec was awesome, man. And I'm going to miss you all. I know we'll still chat and figure things out, but I'm going to miss working with you all. I'm going to miss doing that work. It was interesting work. Politics is something I've worked in and is a realm I've worked in for a long time. So I'm going to miss doing that show. I want to miss that daily grind of it. I'm going to bounce back. Obviously, I want to get on my feet in terms of 9 to 5, salary. But that's the latest with that. And that's why I had to miss last week's show, because that was tough for me. But here we are. And today we're going to have some fun. All right. So we're not going to be down and depressed all day. We're going to have a fun topic, a controversial topic, but a fun topic, okay? Because while relaxing and while getting some R&R and some time to myself, I went to the wine festival, the Caribbean Wine Festival here in the DMV area. Shouts out to the Caribbean Wine Festival. And I was chilling with my folks outside, drinking wine all day, relaxing, and we started playing Black Card Revoke. And one of the questions on Black Card Revoke was, who is the best basketball player of the last decade, right? And that was an interesting question because it was the last decade. It wasn't like of all time. It wasn't of the 2000s or after Jordan or something like that. It was the past 10 years. And my man, and I think the options were like LeBron, Steph Curry, Kobe, and somebody else, right? And my man picked Steph Curry. And you know, I like LeBron James. I really like LeBron James, actually. But I'm not like one of these crazy LeBron fans. Like, he isn't the greatest of all time to me. He's not one of those. Shouts out to Halo. I got some branded gear I got to show y'all that actually is a LeBron shirt that says the GOAT on it, which I don't think he's the GOAT, but I'm going to rock it because shouts out to Halo, right? But I thought that question was interesting because it kind of confined it to a certain time period. And it made me think. Because another question was, who's the greatest rapper of all time, right? So I wanted to combine those two questions. Who is the best? No, let me reframe that. I want to actually say this one right. Who is the most important rapper of the last 20 years? Who is the most important rapper of the last 20 years from 2003 to 2023? I got a list. I got 5 MCs on the list. Y'all gonna hate this list. Some of y'all gonna hate this list. But we're gonna get into it. We're gonna talk about who are the 5 most important MCs, and I'm gonna talk about why I think these rappers are the 5 most important rappers of the last 20 years. All right. Let's get into it right after this. Listen, have you smelled your hair today? Does your hair smell like outside? You need to go get Lock Juice and spray your braids or your locks, afro, or even your beard. Lock Juice is a natural hair freshener made with rose water and essential oils. Perfect for adding moisture and shine. Lock Juice has 12 scents available for all hair types, including herbal, sweet, and earthy scents. Right now, you can go to getlockjuice.com. That's getlockjuice.com today and get 25% off while supplies last. Okay, so here we are. Now, I want you all now this is one of those engagement topics, man. This is about engagement. If I would have booked a guest for this one, but I just didn't have time. All right, so this is about engagement. I want to know what you guys think. Hit me up. All right, there'll be reels and stuff like this, but for my podcast, for my full podcast listeners, hit me up in the comment section below. Let me know who you think is the top 5 most important rappers of the past 20 years. Who did I miss? Who do you hate that's on this list? Let me know. Let me have it. Let's have some fun, man. I need fun. Okay, I need some fun. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. It's been a crazy couple of months, frankly. I need the fun. So let's get to it. All right. I also have 2 honorable mentions. In fact, I think I'll start. No, I'll get to my honorable mentions after number 3. Okay. So here we go. Okay. So number 5, the most important rapper of the last 20 years, number 5 on my list, is a rapper that I'm not even a huge fan of, honestly. And sometimes I hesitate to categorize this guy as a rapper. And also, let me explain this. I think this is why I went with most important and not best. I think that because there's so many artists, especially once you get to the 2010s, right? There was this whole crop, and like great artists too, by the way, like amazing artists, men, women, especially in the 2020s. I mean, right now you could argue that the top 5 rappers right now in terms of like just influence and record sales and whatever are women. You could make that argument right now. So I think that is why I can't go with like who's the best. I'm going with most important, okay? And this dude, I'm not sure if he's really a rapper. He does a little bit of everything. He acts, he sings, he raps. You know what I'm talking about. The 5th most important rapper of the last 20 years is Drake. It's definitely Drake. I'm not a big fan of Drake. I don't have, to me, Drake doesn't, I don't know, Drake has like classic albums. I know there's a lot of debate about like whether Drake has a classic album or not, but I'd be a complete hater, like an absolute unfiltered hater if I didn't recognize the importance of Drake, one of the most successful artists since the year 2010. Started off with the So Far So Gone mixtape, which I actually was a big fan of, was part of that Young Money team. So he had all that, that firepower behind him. But dude, the dude is talented, and the dude does have the goods. He is able to work both sides of the aisle, and he also represents to me like a shift in hip hop. There was a shift in hip hop where everything in the 2000s, you had to be like a goon, frankly, right? You had you're kind of like Mos Def and Talibs and those type of guys who were great. By the way, Mos Def one of the best to do it. But everybody understands that Mos Def kind of played the underground. He was like the leader of the underground, right? Not the most mainstream of mainstream artists. The mainstream guys were all playing a role. They were all from the street. They were all trap this, trap that, or they were New York goon this, that, or West Coast this. It really amplified in the 2000s. That gangster rap image really amplified in the 2000s. And so when Drake came around, Drake was like one of the first people where you knew he wasn't that. You knew it. The dude was on Degrassi. We knew who he was. Like Wheelchair Jimmy. By the way, I just realized I had my earbuds in the whole time. Sorry, y'all. Wheelchair Jimmy, whatever his name was, you knew who he was the entire time. But he could hop on a Rick Ross track. He could hop on a Future track. He could do a mixtape or album with Future. He could rhyme with Wayne. He could rhyme with this. And then he could do like the slowest slow jam. I mean, you can't hate on the diversity. You can't hate on just the skill. And frankly, the fact that the audience, and his audience being largely a female base, you can't hate on the fact that his audience wants him around, that they don't care about I want to say he's not authentic. I'm not saying that, but you can't argue that they don't care. And where that was proven to me, and it's like the 4-year anniversary of it, I think, or the 6-year anniversary, something like that, of the famous Pusha T beef. And I found out then that Pusha T was giving him every classic body blow that you give somebody in a battle, and none of it affected Drake because the audience didn't want it to affect Drake, period, point blank. It didn't matter if Drake really won the battle or not, if he's, a better lyricist, or the track was better, or Pusha T hit him with, no, it didn't matter. It did not matter. Drake survived it all because the audience wanted Drake to survive it all. His fans wanted him to survive it all. Drake is one of the most important rappers ever, and definitely of the past 20 years. Aubrey, man. Aubrey. What can I say? Man? Aubrey. Drake, number 5 on my list. All right. Number 4 on my list is one of the greatest of all time. He's probably the number 1 greatest rapper on my personal list. It's JayZ. He's number 4 because we're talking about the past 20 years. Okay. JayZ's impact spans decades, obviously the 90s to 2000s, the 2010s, and even the 2020s, right? I mean, he just had the verse with on the DJ Khaled joint, the 30-minute verse, right? I mean, he's all, I was listening to the J Electronica album. He's basically his album, 444, came out a few years back. That was important. JayZ still is an important voice in hip hop. And obviously, over the past 20 years, there's been some dope albums. Now, again, the Blueprint was over 20 years ago, so we can't include the Blueprint, but you got dope albums in there. Retired, came back, Watch the Throne, the whole Kanye thing. I mean, obviously, JayZ is an artist. I don't have to explain why JayZ is important as an artist, and I think he influenced a bunch of new artists. But JayZ is important because of the business side. And I think we all understand that as a businessman, JayZ is one of the most important artists we've ever seen. In fact, we never seen anything like this in hip hop before. He moves so many needles in business. He's responsible for Rihanna. He's writing for his wife. The man is in the Writers Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The reason why I have him number 4 on the list and not number 1 is because we're talking about the past 20 years. JayZ is a legend. I was hoping he was going to be part of the ownership for my Washington Commanders. It turns out it's not that. But, hey, he's running the Super Bowl. He is transformed himself into a billionaire, into a mogul, and into a person, maybe not financial. Look, you could think what you want about him financially. You could think what you want about him and ethically. And that's on you. But to as an example of a person to aspire to be in terms of just success and just dominating your field in several other fields and being fearless, right? You can't deny JayZ. You can't deny JayZ at all. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on JayZ because it's pretty obvious that JayZ is that dude. And musically, even over the past 20 years, you got some of the biggest hits you could think of, New York and plenty. Niggas in Paris. All this is over the past 20 years. JayZ is definitely on that list. And I think, honestly, as an artist, it's impressive that we're still talking about JayZ to this day. It's 2023. JayZ's career started in, I believe, like 1993. Reasonable Doubt was 96. So that's a long time. Rappers have come and gone since then, fell off. This man is still doing it. If you dropped the album right now, it would be one of the most important albums out there. Debate me on that. JayZ is the 4th most important rapper of the past 20 years, without a doubt. Now let's get to number 3. Okay, so number 3, the 3rd most important rapper of the past 20 years to me. Can y'all see that back there? I don't know if y'all can make that out. This dude has a 4 to 5 album run that is unmatched. Pulitzer Prizes, Grammy Awards, critically acclaimed, one of the most talented lyricists there is. He's my personal favorite rapper and probably one of my favorite rappers of all time. I'm almost putting him on number 1 on my personal all-time list, but that's personal. It's the one and only Kendrick Lamar. Now, Kendrick Lamar, lyrically, is amazing. Great storyteller. All of the things you aren't supposed to be in the modern era, Kendrick Lamar is. If you're Andre 3000 fan, if you like, if you like the Midwest double time rap or style, he's got that for you. If you like the Southern drawl, he's got that for you. If you like the West Coast gangster old school style, he's got that for you. Kendrick Lamar is just like an android when it comes to emceeing and lyricism and the art of rapping. He is, in my opinion, the best rapper in it today, hands down. I don't care what you say. Debate me. But it's the 5 album run, or let's go with 4 album run, that I think is most important. We're going to start with Good Kid, Mad City, which I have on my record player back here, which I listen to all the time. Storytelling, a themed album, right? Okay, cool. Nerdy, hip-hoppy stuff, whatever. All right, let's talk about hits. Let's talk about Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. Let's talk about Poetic Justice, mega hits, right? Let's talk about Swimming Pools, which I think is one of the most impressive club bangers in a long time because it's a song about alcoholism and the struggles with it that he tricks you into playing in the club. Let's talk about To Pimp a Butterfly. Critically acclaimed, themed album, a letter to Tupac the entire time. Just brilliant, right? But also has one of the most important songs in hip hop history on it, which is We Gonna Be Alright, which ended up being like a movement song, man. Let's talk about Damn. Won a Pulitzer Prize for it. Hit after hit after hit. Super important album. Let's talk about Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, a song, a double album about mental health, about therapy. Let's talk about the Black Panther soundtrack. I could go on and on and on and on and on. The man just released a song yesterday with Baby Keem called Hillbillies, and it took over the internet. If you want to argue with me about Kendrick Lamar, fair. I say you being a hater. Real talk. I say you being a hater if you don't recognize that Kendrick Lamar is probably the most talented rapper out right now and one of the most important MCs of the past 20 years and will continue to be one of the most important MCs moving forward. He is the youngest rapper on this list. He is the future on this list. If I'm being completely biased, I'd have him number one on this list, frankly, but I can't do it. All right. Let's get to some honorable mentions. All right, I'm going to give y'all some behind the scenes stuff, man. I got August back there in her bassinet, like right behind the cameras. Y'all probably can hear, I'm sorry, I'm a dad. There you go. I'm sorry, I'm a dad. I got to do what I got to do, okay? So Augie's part of the show. If you hear her, I'll try to edit out any, loud cooing or anything like that. She likes to talk, so I would put her on camera, but I don't think she's going to sit still long enough. Either way, let's get to the honorable mentions. Okay, so the honorable mentions of most important MCs over the past 20 years. The first one I got to say is Nicki Minaj. Now, Nicki is dope as hell. I don't agree with everything that's gone on in her career, every move she's made. I think that she could embrace the other ladies a little bit more. Hey, that's on her. She has her own reasons. I'm not here to judge her. I think that hurt her a little bit. Went kind of super pop. Hey, whatever. That's an opinion. That's a musical opinion. I didn't love it, but it's up to, hey, but it was successful. So who am I to hate on Nicki Minaj? Definitely an honorable mention. I couldn't put her in the top 5 as much as I wanted to, because I wanted to include a lady, because I think that right now, and if we revisit this list a little bit later, like, maybe the past 10 years, something like that, it'll be a lot of women on this list. Cardi B will be on this list. Obviously, a lot of women will be on this list, frankly. I think the women are really taking over hip hop right now. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Shouts to Doja Cat and other people like that, man. Lotto and Meg Thee Stallion, all these people, right? But you don't have any of them over the past 20 years if you don't have Nicki Minaj. Now, if you want to go back further, you don't have Nicki Minaj unless you have Lil Kim and Foxy Brown and and then we can go on before that. Queen Latifah, MC Light, so on and so on. But for the past 20 years, you don't have a Lotto, you don't have a Meg Thee Stallion, you don't have a Cardi B, you don't have a all of these young ladies that are doing their thing right now, right? City Girls, all of this. You don't have them unless you have Nicki Minaj. And then, hey, I'd even throw Trina in there as well. But Nicki Minaj really sparked something. She was head over heels more talented than a lot of the men and women that were rhyming at the time, man. The next honorable mention on my list is 50 Cent. Listen, 50 Cent had a short career in terms of hits, man. I don't know if it was short. It was about average for a hip hop artist, but what he did when he first came on the scene in terms of turning hip hop upside down, changing what rappers looked like, what they talked about, the beef, all of that stuff, man. 50 Cent was running things for a very long time. And then what he's done in terms of television, in terms of hip hop cinema, Power, BMF, the Power verse, I should say. 50 Cent, man, honorable mention. Nicki Minaj, 50 Cent, honorable mention. Can't do a list without them. All right, now let's get to the top 2. Okay, so these last 2, I flipped them around a lot. I made a final decision that works for me. Okay, so I want to tell you who the number 2 most important MC or rapper or artist, hip hop artist of the last 20 years is. And it's not someone I like a lot, honestly. A lot of controversy surrounding this dude, but again, in terms of accolades and relevance and impact over the past 20 years, you got to include Kanye West. Now, Kanye West, and a lot of you are probably like, the guy I'm going to put over top of him, how could I? Kanye West, I think the last few years hurt. But, and there's other guys' controversy as well, weird things as well. But reason why I have Kanye West number 2 is because you can't deny it. You're talking about album runs. You're talking about pretty much since graduation. Since college dropout too. For me, 808s. But you could even go Yeezus. Some people, it didn't stop there. I think it fizzled out at a certain point, And a lot of it had to do with the weird controversies and the nasty controversies. And this is why I've soured on this person, but on Kanye. But you can't deny the impact. Musically, he changed the way hip hop sounds. Him, Jay Dilla, others changed the way hip hop sounds. It gave it a more soulful sound. And then even later in the 2000s and later in the 2010s, it gave it just like he dominated the sound of hip hop. R&B and hip hop, man. You Don't Know My Name was produced by Kanye West, like the Alicia Keys jump, man. I mean, I go on and on and on and on. Kanye West as a producer, probably, there go August, probably one of the best producers ever. Okay. Kanye West as an MC, as a lyricist, not bad though. Not the best, but not bad. But Kanye West as a creative during that time, and just as an impact, a pop culture impact, you can't deny it. And lastly, I think the thing that really gets him up high on this list, and for many of you, I'm sure number one, is the fashion. You know, the Yeezy. I mean, I do a sneaker podcast. The Yeezy just re-released again without him, and they're still selling out. They're still important. You know, just certain looks, the fashion icon that he is or was. You can't deny it, man. He controlled the look of hip hop. And again, you wouldn't have certain artists if it weren't for Kanye West. I don't believe you'd have a Drake. In certain ways, I don't believe you'd have a Kendrick. You know, you go on and on, JayZ, certain people you can go on and on and on about, because his impact, his ability to change the look, change the attitude, change the perception, change the what you expected from hip hop. It's undeniable, man. Kanye West, number 2. What else can I say? Okay, so here's number 1 for me. And how could I put this person over Kanye West? I'm explaining. The number 1 most important hip hop artist of the last 20 years for me is Lil Wayne. Now I know we see Lil Wayne now with the, hey man, shouts to Lil Wayne first and foremost, man. I ain't about to diss Lil Wayne, but you just see him now, and it's not the same. You know, he's my age. He's not a young guy anymore. But shouts to Wayne, man. He's out there and he's doing his thing, and he's just not as musically relevant as he used to be. But when I tell you that Lil Wayne's mixtape run, his 3 Carter album run, okay, the Like Father Like Son album, the look of Wayne, the lyricism, and how many sons, I don't mean this literally, how many MCs did Lil Wayne birth? How many people were influenced by Lil Wayne to this day? I mean, I'd be wasting your time naming all of the rappers you guys can. I would argue that almost this entire generation, especially Southern rappers, I would say from like the year 2010 to now, most of them have been influenced by Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne, I think we forget about how like hot Wayne was in the 2000s and the 2010s, man. It's rare for someone to be that on fire. I just talked about Kendrick Lamar and JayZ. None of them have been on fire like Wayne was. Like on fire. Cameo after cameo, the look, everything. Lil Wayne influenced so many artists. That's why he has to be one of the most important, if not the most important, rappers of the past 20 years. Debate me. I welcome it. I welcome it. Tell me Wayne is not the most important rapper of the past 20 years. Give me a reason why he isn't. And I'll tell you that you weren't paying attention, or you just hate. But let's talk about it, man. I really want to keep this conversation going. Who are the 5 most important rappers of the past 20 years to you? Who on this list should not be on the list? And who do you agree with? All right, let's talk about it. All right, I got my little co-host with me now. She wanted to be on this show. Y'all heard her. She kept talking. You want to talk now? You want to say something? You want to say something? Oh, now you're quiet. Mwah. Shouts out to Augie, man. She's been part of the show the entire time. Yeah. All right, so listen, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. I'm not sure you guys can hear me right now. Let's do it like this. Okay. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. Thank you for being understanding about last week. We rocking and rolling, man. You know, not to be extra, but I do this. This is the reason why. This is the reason why. I'm going to keep going, man. So I appreciate all of you all. Let's talk about those 5 most influential rappers of the past 20 years. I really want to have that conversation, man. So do me that favor. You know what I mean? Let's talk about that. Let's keep that conversation going, man. I appreciate all of you all. Thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you so much for tuning into the show and supporting the show. We're going to keep it going. Actually, I'm going to have some bonus content for you guys tomorrow, just something a little cool. It'll be up on YouTube. I'm not sure if I put like a reel up or anything about it, but it'll be up on YouTube. So check it out, man. Remember to comment. Remember to like, subscribe to this show. Like and subscribe to this show on YouTube. Comment, of course. Remember to subscribe and rate and review the podcast on all podcast platforms. The podcast will be up either later on today or tomorrow, but you can watch this thing on YouTube. Remember just to share my YouTube, rate and review the YouTube, do all of that. Right, August? Right? That's right. Okay, I could have had her on the whole time, but you was going to be this good. You was going to chill like this the entire show? Okay. All right, man. Remember to follow me, MSR_Adam. MSR_Adam. That's me on all social media platforms. Remember to mind your mental health. All right, do that. Mind your mental health, man. It's summertime. I say it all the time. Go out there and get some sun. Me and August going to go for a walk in a little while, okay? All right, go out, get some sun, get some exercise. Take care of yourselves, okay? Remember to mind your physical health. Do it. Take care of yourselves, all right? It's super duper important, especially for my fellas, all right? Especially for my fellas out there, all right? Okay, and listen. What we going to tell them, August? What are we going to tell them? Tell them don't forget and always remember to be great. We up out of here. Peace.